Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So long and thanks for all the fish. So sad that it should come to this. We tried to warn you, oh, but oh dear. You may not share our intellect, which might expect your disrespect for all the natural wonders that grow around you. Well, so long and thanks for all the fish. So long and thanks for all the fish. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to season 1, episode 42. That's 42, the meaning of life of the Hate Napkin. And I'm your co-host, Arik Bjorn, coming to you from the armpit of the devil's asshole in Columbia, South Carolina. You can find us over at the Instagram, at the Book of Face, and Twitter. Info at thehatenapkin.com is also a cool way to send us the things that you hate. 42, the meaning of life. We've somehow made it to episode 42 with the three of us still talking and co-host Garrett, who's not talking to us anymore. Carla there and Burnt Korn reach deep into the angles of hate and pull out some mail. What do you got?
I have some mail. Hang on, let me get some eyeballs here. Dear THN, looked in your merch store. You seem to be out of creamy butter. Disappointing. I do have something for the Hate Napkin, though. Customer service lines that are all manned by a guy named Kevin, who has a strangely strong Indian accent. Doesn't matter what customer service line you call, Kevin's there, or Jared, or Bill, or Colin. And they all have a strong Indian accent, and you can't understand a goddamn thing they say. Bought a new plug-and-play printer this week, since mine died. Kevin had to take control of my computer because he didn't think I was doing what he told me to do. And after 3 hours, the printer is still not working. So I box it up and send it back and make another call to Kevin. It must be Kevin's day off because Julia answers the phone. She must be Kevin's wife. She too has a strong Indian accent. It only takes 2 hours for her to discover that her good-for-nothing husband skipped a crucial step in setting up my printer after 2 more hours on the phone. I hate plug-and-play technology that has to go all the way to India to work. I hate that now I'm forced to speak with people who co-opt Anglo names because they think I'm too stupid to know they're not in a call center in LA. I hate that I have to lug the second printer back to UPS drop-off point to get my money back. I hate that 5 hours of my time isn't valued. Sincerely, Janice Page, Peculiar, Missouri.
That's close to I think a Hall of Fame hate email. That's pretty amazing. I have a lot of thoughts about this. The first of which is there's probably some parallel Hate Napkin program in Mumbai. And it's probably like, Kama Sutra from Calcutta emailing in to go, every time I have a problem with printer, I call and I get Patel from Kansas City.
That's good.
No, listen, as a Uber is probably the worst, and I'm going to get to them later in this episode. Uber is probably the worst company on earth. 100% of their customer support for drivers is booked out of Sri Lanka or Bangladesh or India. And often when I have to call the customer service line for help. I mean, number one, it would be helpful if the person I'm talking to has actually driven a vehicle. Number two, it would be helpful if they understood something about American culture, because I usually have to explain a driving situation, which is particular to where we live. And I'm trying to explain to somebody, Mandinkava from Sri Lanka, hello, listen, there's a big college football game and there's a police barricade set up and I can't get through until the end of the fourth quarter. They don't have, and that's why this writer complained. They don't understand what I'm talking about. I mean, we all get it. I mean, this isn't a slur. It's a fact. Most of these giant faceless tech companies, bill out all of their customer service to somewhere in Southeast Asia or India or somewhere between that. And it doesn't help at all. I mean, of course, it helps their bottom line. It doesn't help us. So, to our wonderful emailer out there in Peculiar, Missouri.
Missouri. It's a real place.
I'm sure it is.
It is.
I thought that was the whole state.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, there's nothing peculiar about Peculiar.
No, but there's something peculiar about Missouri. I'm pretty sure there's something peculiar about Missouri. Anyway, yes, excellent points made there. Can we just fucking hate once and for all customer service lines not based in our own culture? There's nothing wrong with that. If I'm calling you about something, it would be helpful if you understand something about where I live.
It would be most helpful if I could understand the goddamn things.
And yes, please don't try to deceive us with your names. If you can hardly speak our tongue, your name probably isn't Billy Bob.
Or Kevin.
Although I don't know, there are probably places in and around Burnt Korn, Alabama, where I don't speak their tongue either.
You mean like everywhere?
We could just call it Peculiar Deep South. All right, I like that. Well, Carla, since you're on a roll already, do you want to lead off the bat? What goes on your hate napkin this week?
Naked people in my front yard.
Okay. Not what I did not have that in mind heading into today's show. That was naked people in your front yard?
This is correct. Now, the background photo.
I wish you told me. I would have. I mean, you didn't have to make it a public thing here. You could have just told me that you didn't like it.
I thought that was between you two. But all right, we're airing out our differences.
Once you see the picture, you'll know it's not Polly.
All right, for those of you, okay, that means this is a great place to let people know. Episode 42 of season 1 is also available on YouTube. Go over to YouTube, search for the Hate Napkin, look up episode 42 so you can see the following perverse photograph.
Yes, the reason that my background photo is like this is because yesterday, Pleat comes running in, says, "There's a naked man in our front yard." Okay, well, this does not sound normal. So I get up, walk out, and I mean, there is a crowd. There is, for once, this is the first time I've ever seen traffic in Burnt Korn, because it's like the entire town has congregated in front of my home.
It must be a Trump rally.
Nope. Everybody had their cell phones out, taking pictures and video. I managed to get out there before police, fire, and ambulance showed up. And when I opened my front door, this is what I saw.
Oh, folks, ladies and gentlemen, you have to go to YouTube and look up season 1, episode 42 of the Hate Napkin, because without YouTube, without the visual here, folks, I mean, Carla, as good of a storyteller as she is, I think what we're looking at seems to be the body of Genghis Khan, recently waxed with his trow. Waxed from head to toe with his trow down around his ankles. And he may or may not be trying to open up the Suburban with his genitalia.
He is flashing his junk to every passing car. What happened was...
What had happened was...
Oh, I should just leave that.
Yeah, don't cover up the photo.
I don't want to cover up the main character here. He apparently rear-ended a car that ended up in the middle of the boulevard on the parkway. He gets out. No, before he does that, he starts doing donuts until he loses control and gets his car hung up on the curb. Whereupon he gets out of his car and decides that the world needs this. So,
and who doesn't agree with that?
So he is out there for probably a good, 10 minutes before anybody comes. Well,
Wait.
before anybody arrives. This does need very specific language.
Oh my God.
Then the paramedics hold him up as they raise his trousers to a more socially acceptable level. They attempt to walk him to the fire truck to sit him on the step, whereupon he decides he no longer has the capacity to stand up. So they drag him.
He's got a tripod.
Did you get a
I
look at
don't
the?
know.
Did you get a
One
look at
leg
the fire
was pretty
hose?
short.
Yeah. We have to pause here. I think Polly from Bali has a valid question. What is it?
Did you get a look at the fire hose?
No, thank God he did not turn around. From the moment that I stepped out the door, he never turned around.
Well, and I can see
Thank
there's
you,
snow in the
Jesus.
background, so I'm guessing whatever junk there was miniaturized by the rare freezing cold tundra that rarely is seen in Burnt Korn.
It really is never this cold here. I mean, as you can see, we actually had a little bit of snow, and it was not warm enough to melt anything yesterday, except for the thing he's most proud of. And
Speaking of snow, that may have an injection of snow into his nostrils perhaps contributed to said event.
no, what was so funny that there's a kid that lives down the block, and I waved him over. I said, "What happened?" And he said, he goes, "I think it was huffing embalming fluid. My old man used to do that, and he acted just like that."
Oh, we have an embalming fluid epidemic there in Burnt Korn. This is opening everybody's eyes to the real dangers.
I'd never heard of such a thing, so as you can imagine, I was rather surprised. But
Is he waxing his whole body? I mean,
I don't know, but his ass looks black and blue.
It looks like some sort of S&M version of Mussolini the day before they hung him up.
You ever see the movie Powder? It kind of reminds me of
Powder.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's Powder the sequel. It's like Powder 15 years after. He's driving around his Suburban. He's so frustrated that nobody will accept. He's out of the coal closet.
Well, anyway, they took Powder to the emergency room where I'm sure they tested him for substance.
Powder. Yeah, powder.
Yeah. Or embalming fluid. I don't know. Whatever. He was pretty impaired. But as I step out the front door and people are going by, there's a woman who yells out her window, "Don't look!" And I'm like, this is like a 20-car pileup, and you want me not to look?
Don't look.
Don't look. I started laughing so hard. I just, and I mean, this was right in front of my house. So about an hour later, I go down to Cleet's room, and I was like, next time you tell me there's a naked guy on the front lawn, I won't question it. He looks at me and he goes, "Why would I lie about a thing like that?"
Well, you know what really saddens me about this is that once he's booked and processed, we'll be down one listener.
I'm dying.
We just went from 17 listeners to 16.
No, don't bet on that. I would bet you that he is so proud of this moment, his whole family will be listeners after that. This was my life yesterday, so
I'm not sure we can put that on the Hate Napkin. That needs to go on some sort of special appreciation napkin. I mean, how often do you get a naked man in a Suburban in your front yard?
Along with 40 people, I don't know.
I just keep thinking, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
I think the other broader irony is that you are the editor-in-chief of the local news rag. This had to be quote unquote above the fold.
Front page. I might have to do that little pixelated thing over his butt crack, but
I don't know. It's so
I think
black and
page-
blue. It's so black and blue. I think it's sort of self-pixelating.
sort of. It was just weird.
You're gonna have
I
to
mean-
do the double truck. It's page 16. You do the centerfold.
Ooh.
That would make him Mr. March, wouldn't it?
Indeed.
Again, folks, episode 42, The Meaning of Life, season 1, our special Meaning of Life episode, is going to be most appreciated over on the tube of you, over on YouTube. Head
Maybe
on over.
I'm thinking maybe there's an explanation here. Like maybe the fire department,
no-
was doing the Burnt Korn calendar. And that's why the fire department was there. And he is Mr. March.
No, there's no explanation for this.
What
I
I
don't
most
care how
appreciate, though,
creative
is that
that
I just grabbed a screenshot of Carla with the man in the background that I'm going to be plastering all over social media.
I'm good with it. I'm good.
Yeah, but you should see your face and juxtaposition of your head.
Just remember, I know where you live.
As long as Mr. Clean doesn't, we're fine.
Well, I'm going to change my background now.
Oh, yeah.
I've
I'm
had enough.
Okay, all right. Naked people in your front lawn is a bit of an obscure esoteric thing for the Hate Napkin, but well accepted. I don't even know if we have time for anything else. Paula, you got anything bothering you across the water there?
Yeah. Just rating systems. So I'm a teacher, and they now have rating systems. I can get up to 5 stars. And a parent gave me 3 stars on a class. I'm
All
not
of them, or just one?
Just
You
one.
didn't drive a
one
suburban.
of
You didn't
group
drive
of
a
classes.
suburban into their front yard, did you?
No, but I'm at a 3-star hotel. It's got a pool. It's kind of nice. So I'm kind of thinking like maybe it's a good. Maybe she thinks that's a good rating.
Right, above average.
Yeah, but I'm just tired of everything. Not everything needs to be rated. We don't need to have a star system for educators. You just find a teacher that's the right fit for your kid. You don't have to like rate everything.
Well, and who decided that 5 stars, by the way, what's with the fucking number 5? Who decided out there that 5 stars was the way you would rate anything? It's so
Michelin.
arbitrary. Michelin, yeah. So let's officially put the Michelin restaurant guide and fuck it, Michelin tires for what it's worth. I give Michelin tires a 1 star out of 5, by the way. You're right. Rating systems typically tend to suck ass. I mean, this show is definitely a 3-star show. But there are moments that we rise to 5, moments that we sink to 1. But who really cares if you like it? Just say, how about just maybe thumbs up, thumbs down. 5 stars is too confusing.
I am so excited that we earned our 3rd Hate Napkin star.
3, yeah, we register 3 poos out of 5. I just, you're right. I mean, although I don't know, it was pretty helpful the other day when I was looking for a mechanic and it had 1 star on Google. And I was like, what is a 1-star mechanic like? I was so entertained by the reviews. It was like, I dropped my car off 3 hours later. I came back and every part of the engine was sitting there on the floor. I was like, whoa. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. How about,
Would not recommend.
Yeah. Maybe just more binary, yes or no. Because you're right, 3 stars in some people's minds could be a positive. That's more halfway between 0 and 5 is 2.5. So
But also
3
just
could be positive.
Say what you want, and if the whatever service can't provide that, you find a different service. You're not entitled you know, it's just the sense. It's part of the sense of entitlements.
Well,
as a
we're in a situation in the United States right now where parents are showing up to school board meetings because they want to pick and choose what a teacher is allowed to teach or say in a classroom, especially if it revises history. So
Yeah.
I have a problem with parents who have no background, no education in order to decide what is best for your kids to learn, deciding what a teacher who is very well qualified and very well trained cannot say.
Right. Well, and of course, in the wake of the recent Florida legislature passing the no can say gay law,
Yeah.
I think we should take a moment here as the Hate Napkin with our response. Our formal response is gay, 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 rainbow, 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 unicorn, unicorn.
Because nobody's got the thing that the problem I have with that is them being forced out a kid who confides in them.
Well,
That's
how about just my parents are gay, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I've got two dads, so fuck off. Gay, gay,
I
gay.
can't say gay. I have to say I have two parents of the same gender.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't say gay, then you got to be like, you're expecting some 5-year-old to go, okay, well, I've got two mommies that like to lick each other's labia. Are we clear now? I mean, that's putting too much on a 6-year-old, I think, frankly.
I agree.
Gay, 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 gay. Unicorn, rainbow.
I think they should just make the word Ron mean gay, and that'll be the new, like, oh, are you Ron?
All right, so this peculiar episode, season 1.
The meaning of life episode.
This is definitely the meaning of life episode where we hate, we hate naked men in our front yards. We hate rating systems. What else did we? I didn't even get to put anything on the Hate Napkin.